Missing someone. With all your missing someone.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Impulsive Thoughts. Episode, 97, 98, I don't know, something like that. Kind of short hosts today.
Yeah.
I only have Dano to my right today.
Yeah. Just me. Good day, Lupe. How are you doing today?
Here we go.
I had to get out of the way early.
Everything's all right, man.
Yeah. It's my saying for the day, I guess. Let's get another one for Jesse to add to the list of things to drink to.
How are you? How's your week been?
It's been an interesting week. I changed it up. See that?
It's been a week.
It feels like I haven't been on the pod in forever.
You haven't?
Like, I know, yeah. So 2 weeks ago, I wasn't on. Obviously, me and Jamie took the girls to SmackDown. I don't think you guys mentioned it on the pod. You just said we weren't here.
Well, okay, so let's start all the way back to the beginning of June. You didn't record the night before Easton's birthday party.
Right, I had to help clean.
The week after, you didn't record because the Mindsight
concert, yep.
And then the week after, you took the girls to SmackDown.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So it's been a month. Almost.
It's been a month. So, let me rewind then. How's my month been?
Yeah, how has it been?
Easton turned 8.
Jesus.
Yeah, 8. Logan called me for Father's Day. That was great. He literally talked to me. I think it was literally less than 60 seconds. He's like, "Hey, Dad, happy Father's Day. I don't get long." He's like, freaking our group got in trouble, so we lost 20 minutes of phone time. So usually they have, like, I think 45. They got bumped up. They started with 30, they're at 45, but he lost 20 minutes of phone time.
Oh, wow.
He's like, "I talked to Mom and Marisol. I'm calling you. It's Father's Day. I didn't want to go without it." I'm like, "All right." I'm like, "How'd your shooting go?" "I went all right." He's like, "Literally, I think I'm hitting the same hole every time because, I'm leaving like one mark and the bullet's going through the same pot every time. Testing's next week. But I can't go. I can't talk. I just want to say Happy Father's Day." I'm like, "All right, thanks." And then he had to go because if you're on longer, they take your phone away from you all the way, and I don't think you get it all the following week. So,
wow.
So it was good hearing his voice on Father's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Then I don't know. It's been a long month, but then last Friday, me and Jamie last minute decided to buy tickets for SmackDown for the girls because any of the thinkers out there should know that we are huge wrestling fans, and the girls kind of not dragged us in, but they kind of made us like it more because I think it'll be almost 3 years now. 2 years ago, we watched WrestleMania at Nikki and Kevin's, and the girls have loved it since then, and it kind of brought us back into the storylines. We're like, "Oh, this is cool." So SmackDown was freaking awesome. First of all, CM Punk in Chicago, the first time since he made his debut at the Survivor Series, was it, right?
Rumble.
No, Survivor Series last summer. Or was it Royal Rumble in Chicago?
It was Rumble.
Oh, okay, whatever. Yeah, Donnie was there for it.
Almost positive it was Rumble.
Yeah, it was some pay-per-view in Chicago.
It might have been Survivor Series. You're right. It was at the end of the show.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, War Games. Yep, that's right.
Yeah. So what's badass is we paid a little bit extra, and we were on the floor 8 rows from the ring, but like kind of right next to where they walk down. You've seen the pictures already, but for those again that don't know, so Easton actually, CM Punk started the show, came down. Easton got a high five from CM Punk. A little bit later, she got a fist bump from Randy Orton. Actually, Randy Orton walked by, went to fist bump her and missed. Then came back later like he was walking down again, whether it was when he was leaving the ring or later in the night. Came back, got a fist bump, gave her a fist bump, and she had like one of her kids' championship belts and a marker, and she's holding it up for him. And you can see in my video, you can read his lips. He's like, "Give me the pen, give me the pen." But she couldn't hear him, so she's standing there, kind of holding the belt and the marker, just standing there. Where if she would have like reached forward and gave it to him, he would have signed it. So literally, after he's saying, "Give me the pen, give me the pen," you can see him go to the next kid over and grab that kid's marker and sign something else. Like, oh, she could have had Randy Orton's autograph. she got a weird side-eye look from Ludwig Kaiser when he walked by. You know, he walks all high and proper. He looked at her and gives her a look like, "What are you looking at?" She got R-Truth's autograph later because him and Miz came out. It was a dark match. It wasn't one that was on TV.
Yeah.
Solo and the Bloodline kind of gave her nasty looks too because we got a video of her going boo boo with her thumbs down, yelling at the Bloodline. What else? It was just Rylan got to see like she was like 3 feet from Bianca because Bianca Belair's her favorite, and Easton was 3 feet from Cody Rhodes. That's her favorite.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
it was just an experience we'll never forget, and it was the excitement on their faces and how excited they were to see their people like that close, and then for them to know they were on TV because if you watch SmackDown, anytime a wrestler comes out, Easton's on TV. She was right there. You can see the whole freaking show. So it was awesome. It was definitely an awesome experience. What else? As of today, Logan is 4 weeks away from graduating basic.
Wow. That went quick.
Yeah, in the next week or two, I'm not sure which week it is, he starts with something that's called the Forge, which if anyone ever had someone that go through the Army, or if you want to look it up yourself, it's like the most grueling test. They put all the things they've learned to use, and it's like, I don't even want to say it's wrong. It's a super long hike. It's camping. It's this. It's that. It's their 50-pound ruck, I think they call it, a ruck, whatever, on their back, and it's
96 hours.
Is that okay? You found it quicker than me then.
96-hour cumulative training exercise that puts week 7 trainees in a patrol base as they encounter a multitude of combat and logistical scenarios. Oh.
There you go. But everyone, it says it's the hardest part of basic that you go through. But it's, again, after the 6 weeks you've been in already, you're using all the training you've had, but now you're putting it to the test, like I said, for 96 hours.
Yeah.
So I don't think I said it on here. I told you guys the last time I did talk to Logan a couple weeks ago, he did something called the Hammer, I believe, which was like a quarter of the Forge. It's like it was their first overnight trek. And he called me that Sunday, and I got FaceTime videos or pictures of him, and he's like, "Dad," he's like, "you wouldn't have been able to do it." I'm like, "Oh, thanks. Like, I know I'm not in shape." He goes, No. He goes, "Let me tell you." He goes, "We camped to we hiked to our campsite. When we got there to set up our tents," he goes, "we literally slept on a spider's nest all night long." I'm like, "Oh, yep. I would have quit the Army that night. I would have walked away, deserted, whatever. I could not do spiders." He goes, "Yeah, Dad." He goes, I didn't get any sleep." He goes, "And there was bugs and spiders crawling all over me all night long." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't have been able to do it, Logan. You're right." So, he's missing home. He says the physical stuff he can handle, the mental stuff of them yelling at him. He says he can handle it all. He goes, but the homesickness is really getting him. He says if I knew everyone back home hated me, he goes, it'd be a lot easier. He goes, but everyone telling me they love me and walking away from all that, he's like, it was the hardest thing to do.
Yeah, I bet.
So yeah, he's missing home a lot. So
he's in Fort Sill, right?
Yep, Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Which did I show you? I showed your brother, I think. The temperature this whole week.
Hundreds.
104 was Tuesday, 101 Wednesday, 100 Thursday. And then I think hundreds this whole weekend. I don't think they do anything on Sundays. And if they're doing the Forge this week, I believe it's going to be over 100 all next week too.
Wow.
So it's going to be rough.
Fuck, day 1 of the Forge starts with a 10-mile road march.
Yeah.
Yeah, this comes, the one that I searched up, it came straight from Fort Sill.
Oh, nice. Okay, so because I can't go back in the week, today was 102, tomorrow 101, Sunday 98, Monday 100, Tuesday 101, Wednesday 101, Thursday 100. And not only is it hot, but right now is nice. It's 36% humidity. The rest of the week has been 85, 90% humidity with the 100-degree temperatures.
Woof.
So I feel for the kid, man. I mean, I say it to him in all my letters to him. I'm so proud of you. I even told him, I said, "You're my new hero now. I don't need to look for a hero. My son's my hero now because you're doing this stuff." So it's awesome what he's doing. So, I mean, I know he's not on Facebook, but once this finishes, he'll be at AIT, which is training. So he goes from Fort Sill, Oklahoma to San Antonio, Texas. So he's staying in the heat.
From one hot climate to the next.
Yeah. But if any of the thinkers out there, you want to leave encouraging thoughts on the Facebook page, the Impulsive Thoughts Facebook page, I know Marisol sees it too, and she can let them know. We started a page on Facebook in honor of him where, again, listeners, I mean, if any of those people that, if it's true, when we get those stats from Donnie, you're listening from other countries, if you want to write a sign, just says, Go Logan, from Australia, from the UK, from your country, wherever, post a picture on our Facebook page, and I will get it to him. We've read online different forums for families with people in the Army, and also he himself has told us when he calls home that these pictures and all the kind words and the encouraging words, he's like, you don't understand how much that means to us and the other soldiers when you just hear someone back home saying, we're proud of you and good job. So the Mindsight concert we went to, we made a sign that said, we're proud of you, Logan. They held the sign on stage, and there was a lot of our family there. We all got together, took a picture in front of the stage, in front of the sign.
That was pretty cool. I seen that.
Yeah, so he got that, and yeah, so they do this thing. My mom found this out, and she made hers already. They do this thing called the Forge Lantern, which people who support their soldiers, they make this lantern and decorate it with Army and their name and like different stuff. And what you're supposed to do, there's two ways of doing it. You can light it the whole time they're in basic. It just as support and as a reminder, hey, I have someone in the Army. Let's say some prayers for them, support them. Or, because of why it's called the Forge Lantern, you light it the day they start the Forge, and you keep it lit the whole time they're doing the Forge as kind of, again, pray for them, remind them they're going through something hard right now. So my mom made two, actually. And she got this little tiny, like, I want to say, 4-inch tall, 5-inch little, like, stuffed Army guy, and it looks like Logan, and they customize it where it says Oliver on the front, it says U.S. Army. So she took a picture of the lantern, both her lanterns, with the Logan soldier there, and sent it to him, or Marisol sent it to him, and he's like, that is so cool, tell Grandma awesome. So I need to make my lantern. I've been saying for 3 weeks I was going to make it, because Jamie has a Cricut, she can make all the stickers for the side, no problem.
Which I need to talk to her. I still need to learn how to work mine. It's been sitting there for like 6 months. I haven't touched it.
Nice. So what's cool is when we dropped the girls off before the Mindsight concert, my mom's like, girls, I have a gift for you. So they didn't see her little soldier. So when Mom gave them both a bag, and it had candy and their own little tiny Logan soldier also.
That's cool.
And because, they've both been beat up about Logan being gone, so they've slept with that soldier every night. Each one has their own. So I'm like, oh, that's cool, Mom, that's cool. So she saw how much I wanted. She called me a few days later. She goes, so I ordered you your own Logan soldier. I'm like, what? I go, for real? She goes, yeah. I'm like, that's so awesome. Thank you, Mom. She goes, and I may have ordered 4 or 5 more. I'm like, for what? She goes, well, one for Rain to have, one for Marisol to have, one for Jesse and Carissa to have, and one for Nikki and Mike to have. She's like, she goes, you remember when you were not you were in school, but I think we did it with Logan maybe, and maybe Easton. She goes, remember that thing called Flat Stanley? She goes, we can do our own like Flat Stanley thing. Instead of having one Logan to pass around, we all have our own. And when we do something fun or something cool, we bring the Logan with us, take a picture, and be like, Logan, you may have not physically been there, but you were there with us anyways.
Yeah,
so
that's
awesome. Damn, I'm like, I wish I would have had one at the Mindsight concert.
Yeah, that is awesome.
So we're going to do our own version of Flat Stanley for Logan, like take pictures of Logan with. So once I get mine, I was going to bring one of the girls, because the girls are at our house already. My mom said ours came in. I just haven't seen my mom yet. But I was going to bring it tonight, and I fucking forgot to have them like, hey, Logan, you're at the podcast with us tonight,
Yeah.
So just, I guess a lot of Logan stories again. So, which leads me back to it's been an interesting week. I've been, I don't know, kind of emotional this week.
Oh, Lord. Here we go.
Not like...
I'm not a therapist, Dan.
No, not like...
UK is not here.
Just, I don't know, just been in a weird funk all week long. And like I told you this morning...
Yeah, we talked about that this morning, because I kind of been in, like, not a funk, but, like, I just had really no motivation to, like, really write a fucking...
episode.
An episode or anything like that.
Yeah, and mine was revolved around the kids, because I had read something... what was it? I'm going to post it on Facebook later when I not today, but like when I get to like get my thoughts all organized. I don't even know where it's at anymore. I saved it, but it was something to the effect of Man, my brain's not working. It was something about, okay, it says, you will spend the majority of your life knowing your children as adults, but for a brief moment, you will get to know them as kids. So it kind of ties into
That's deep.
what your post was yesterday about on Facebook about, you saw a lady pushing her kid on a swing, but not doing a good job because she was
Yeah.
more interested in trying to look at her phone while, air quote, playing with her kids.
Right.
And I had read that when I told you I had gotten home from work, and my whole intention was to play with the kids anyways because of that quote I had read. And they took a little bit longer to get outside, so by the time they got outside, I was scrolling on my phone, and they're playing in the yard, playing, and then I read your quote. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, you're right. I'm like, I'm like, I can't just be, hey, I'm here, but I'm not here, So I put my phone right in my pocket right away, and I started playing basketball with Ethan and Rylan, and we were playing games, and I'm like, nope, I don't want them to be like, oh yeah, Dad's home with us, but he's always on his phone. No. I'm fucking playing with them.
Right.
So I just been in a funk, and just second guessing myself as a parent, which is, I've never done that before. And it's just, and that all started kind of in Tennessee, I told you, way back then, just random stupid thoughts. And anyways, you're not a therapist, and we're not talking about that shit. I just hope I've done a good job with my kids. And I hope, like I've said on millions of Father's Day posts to my dad, I just hope my kids know how much I love them, and they can respect me even half of the way I respect my dad, because then I've done something right,
Yeah. Don't start crying on me, man.
I'm not.
You're gonna get me emotional.
No.
I just posted something on the Impulsive Thoughts page that we were just talking about. So
Oh, really?
yeah, and I don't know who's calling me. I don't know that number.
So it's been, like I said, I've been weird emotions lately. Nice. Awesome.
Yeah, I figured that. I mean, just to kind of reach out to everybody that's on
Yeah.
the page. Anyway, I should. I wonder if I can tag, I can do the same tag on Instagram,
Yeah.
since Instagram is basically Facebook now, or it's owned by Meta.
Yeah. So I have a story for today. But I mean, how was your week though? I keep saying about how I've been doing. How was yours?
My week has been good. Been kind of lonely, man. The girlfriend has been in the Dells all week, so
Oh, nice.
she took her son and she was with her brother and her son. So I haven't seen her since Monday. Yeah, Monday, because I stayed with her Sunday night after softball. So I came home after softball and showered, and I shot out there. Let me tell you, the drive is long, but it's actually a decent drive. Doing those back roads over in Moni and all that
Yeah.
shit, it's pretty cool. Although I don't know, I don't even know if I kept the pictures, but man, you should have seen the Jeep, bro. It was fucking covered.
Oh,
in
I saw those.
bugs.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I haven't seen her since then. I'll see her tomorrow though. So
Very nice.
yeah. So, but yeah, and like I told you earlier, it's kind of been an odd week for me too, especially with work.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna kind of blame it on the holiday coming up.
Yeah.
Because everything's been very quiet. I've been flowing through work really quick, and I've been getting off of work pretty early, and it's funny because I had just told Chris, I'm like, yeah, I don't know, I think I'm gonna be late all week. So. But no, I wasn't, surprisingly. Although today was hilarious. I almost threw hands today.
Oh, yeah. You called me for this story.
Yeah. So I'm at one of my stops, and this will be my only work story today. But I was at one of my stops, and I'm getting ready to leave, and I'm in the truck, and I start creeping forward. I don't have my hazards on anymore, and I start creeping forward to the stop sign, and I notice, I always check my mirrors to make sure nobody's trying to go around me or anything like that, because sometimes I do have to double park in Chicago. It's Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago.
And I noticed this guy, he's further back, and he's starting to go around the vehicle that was behind me that was double parked. So I start creeping forward thinking he's going to go behind me, but he doesn't. He ends up going in front of me and cuts me off, and I have to slam on my brakes. at the same time, he is laying on his horn. And I'm like, so you're in front of me, but you're laying on your horn. Make that make sense, bro. So I'm like, all right, it is what it is. Go ahead. You can go. He doesn't move. He's sitting there. I'm like, all right, so I'm going to start laying on my horn. So I start laying on my horn, and it's just a symphony of horns now because he's blocking traffic, and there's other people beeping at him. I'm beeping at him. He's beeping at me. And I'm like, all right, you're not moving. So I stick my head out the window. I'm like, move your fucking car. And I'm pretty sure his window was up, but I could be wrong. He might have heard me. It is what it is. So I realized that there's a little pocket on the right that I was able to sneak in to try to turn right. And I start trying to sneak in, and he decides to pull forward and get more in front of me, so I can't go anywhere. At this point, that's when it pisses me off. So I hang my head out the window and I start swearing up a storm at him. Finally, when he pulled in front of me there, he was able to open up the traffic jam that he was already causing. So everybody else was driving back and forth and where they needed to go. But he's right in front of me, not moving, still laying on his horn. So my stop must have heard the commotion because the owner of the stop came out and he starts yelling at the guy. I'm yelling at the guy. Finally, he takes off and he takes a right. Well, unfortunately, I have to take a right too. So I'm right behind him again. And he realizes that I had turned right behind him and he slams on his brake in the middle of the street. So I pull up right behind him. At this point, this is where it starts to be comical to me. I start laughing. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to try to go around you. So I start trying to go around him again, and he takes off again. So I'm like, all right, I got your number, bro. Like, I know what you're doing. So he stops at the stop sign, and I start creeping up behind him, and I know he's not going anywhere. So I start to try to creep around him again, and he takes off, but he's making a left turn, and he almost T-bones somebody else in the process. At this point, I'm dying laughing, and I go around him, and I'm like yelling out the window as I'm driving by, like dumbass. So yeah, that was my thing for today. But I'm like, come on, bro. Like, what are you gonna do? Get out your car. You want to do something? Do something. Yeah, the hood came out in me today. It's very rare for that to come out, but it came out.
It's too hot for a hood. Even though I'm wearing one right now. Yeah, it's been a week for both of us. It's been a weird week. I don't know. I've been, I think, good, like, outwardly. Like, I haven't, like, shown any sadness. Like, and I'm not, like, it's weird. I'm not, like, depressed or sad. It's just when I've had time to think about things, I just been thinking about, like, the wrong things.
Yeah.
And maybe it has to do with my birthday's coming up, too, and I'm just going through my third midlife crisis.
Yeah, well, 17th, right?
Yes, sir.
July 17th.
Yes, sir. Cancer at its finest. So, now, on to business. If you'd like to hear the rest of this episode, please hang up and give us $20. See you next week. Oh, wait, sorry.
Join our Patreon.
Join our Patreon. www.thedandingo.com.
The Dandingo, oh God.
Dandingo at onlydans.com. So, I have a delight, I feel. If anyone has been listening and you heard it probably was the last episode I did.
I think it was.
Was the 10 mysterious army stories or military stories?
That was right before mine, right? The big one that I did?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Donnie's had one in there, I think, too. So.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And you guys recorded, without me here the other time with Stir the Pot. So.
Oh, right. So
there's been other episodes, but this is the last one I actually ran was the 10 military stories. Well, this is what we call a callback. No, I'm good. If you recall, I mentioned a serial killer, a Hungarian serial killer named Béla Kiss. And I hinted in back then that I said I would love to do a deeper dive in this guy. Well, I have done a deeper dive. So this episode is about, I believe you pronounce it Béla. I don't know. It's Hungarian. Béla Kiss, which he's got a couple of nicknames, one of them being the Hungarian vampire, The other one called The Monster of Sinkota, which is the town he lived in. So, to begin, and also, thinkers, this week, I learned how to be younger and use a laptop. I learned how to copy and paste and rearrange stuff and put my own words in there. So instead of me writing out 20 pages of notes, I was able to type them and move them around. And as I found more parts of a story, I was able to fit them into where I already written shit. So if it doesn't make sense, it's the laptop's fault. So
and next week we'll work on colors.
So my intro, for centuries, the vampire has captured imaginations and inspired nightmares in communities around the world. And while Romania's Transylvania region has long dominated the vampire-related conversation, for a few decades in the early 20th century, the most feared blood drainer in the world was not Dracula, but a person from Romania's neighbor to the west, Hungary. So Béla Kiss was born July 28th, 1877 in Isaac, Austria-Hungary to Janos Kiss and Verona Varga. And there's a small little snippet where it says, at a young age, Kiss possibly had an incestuous relationship with his mother.
Interesting.
So that's all that's ever mentioned that in all the stories I read. Just the one said that. So also, editor's note or prequel, whatever you want to call it, there's not a lot about this guy. Again, it's 1877 and Hungary. So a lot of my notes may have like conflicting dates. Like I may say something and then later something else. So I apologize. I tried to make it make sense, and I tried to only go with like certain dates. But again, it's weird. So that's why I preface it by saying this was only mentioned in one place: a possible incestuous relationship. Again, this is 1877. So who knows? In the early 1900s, young Béla Kiss moved into a house at 9 Kossuth Street that he rented on the outskirts of Sinkota, which is a quiet little town just outside of Budapest. So back then, it was a town near Budapest. Now it's actually a neighborhood within the city itself. So Kiss had been married twice to one Julia Pishadik from 1905 or 1906 to ? So they don't know when that marriage ended.
Interesting.
Then he was married to this lady, Maria, that started in ? So whenever the Julia one ended, this one started, and they were married until 1912. And he had 2 children, Aranka and Yanka. It's 2 L's, O-N-K-A, or Ilanka, Yanka. Don't know if those are male or female names, and I don't know which wife he had them with, because that's the only mention of his kids anywhere also. So shortly after moving to Sinkota, his wife, Marie, had found herself a lover, one Paul Bicari. And in December of 1912, Kiss sadly told his neighbors that the couple had run off together, leaving him alone. So in place of his wife, Kiss hired an elderly housekeeper, Miss Jakubek. She, in turn, learned to ignore the parade of women who came to spend time with Sinkota's newest eligible bachelor. So he was an amateur astrologer, and he was allegedly fond of occult practices. He was a tinsmith, so I did myself a little digging because I'm like, I can't just say he's a tinsmith and not explain what it is.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Like,
Yes.
what is that?
So, a tinsmith is a person who makes and repairs things made of tin or other light metals. This profession may sometimes also be known as a tinner, a tinker, a tin man, or a tin plate worker. Whitesmith may also refer to this profession, though the same word may also refer to unrelated specialty of iron smithing. I guess that's a whitesmith. So, by extension, it can also refer to the person who deals in tinware or tin plate. Tinsmith was a common occupation in pre-industrial times. So, unlike blacksmiths, who work mostly with hot metals, tinsmiths do the majority of their work on cold metal. And although they might use a hearth to heat and help shape their raw materials, tinsmiths fabricate items such as water pitchers, forks, spoons, and candle holders. In Hungary, the rich history of tinsmithing can be traced back to the 15th century when the craft was first established. So that was my little tidbit. I'm like, I can't just say what he did tinsmithing.
Right.
What the fuck is that? So Not only had Kiss taught himself his trade as a kinsmith, but he was a voracious reader and was highly conversant on art, so conversational on art, literature, and history. So with no formal schooling at all, he was able to discuss virtually any subject with the most intelligent and educated of the townspeople. He struck his fellow villagers as an amiable and hardworking fellow with a penchant for throwing parties at a local hotel.
So was he the originator of fake it till you make it then?
It sounds like it, man. If he did no schooling. He was known as a generous person. Everybody liked Béla Kiss, and he was considered by the women of the town to be its most eligible bachelor. Kiss was a rather handsome man with blonde hair and remarkable, vibrant blue eyes.
That mustache, though.
Yeah. And then it says, Sinkota had a limited choice of female companions, so Kiss kept an apartment in Budapest and took out advertisements in newspapers there. Women began corresponding with Kiss. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, drink.
Yeah.
Damn it. I don't think I did that at all the last episode. So the housekeeper, Jakubek, noticed that Kiss corresponded with a number of women, typically through advertisements he would place in newspapers, offering his services as either a matrimonial agent or a fortune teller. And sometimes he brought the women individually to his home. However, his housekeeper had little contact with these women. Town gossips noted that over the years, a steady stream of lovelies from Budapest spent short periods of time at his home in Sinkota, but no one in the town, not even his housekeeper, Miss Jakubik, was introduced to these young women who came and went so quickly. Kiss was never on intimate terms with his neighbors, even though he was well liked. The townsfolk also noticed that Kiss had collected a number of metal drums. When the town police questioned him about the drums, he told them that he filled them with gasoline in order to prepare for the rationing of the upcoming war, which was World War I. So, when World War I began in 1914, he was conscripted. Now, again, I'm like, what does conscripted mean? Let me take a note. So, conscription is the state-mandated enlistment of people in a national service, mainly a military service. So, i.e., in layman's terms, it's equivalent to what we call the draft over here.
Yeah, that's what I was...
Yeah. So it says conscription dates back to antiquity, which means all time, and it continues in some countries to the present day under various names. Again, the draft over here. So he was 37 years old when he left his house in Jakubik's care. So he left the house for the housekeeper to take care of while he was at war. So now, according to an article published in, this is probably a Hungarian newspaper or magazine, it's Nepzvaya. yeah, there you go. I'm sorry for all my Hungarian listeners, thinkers. I cannot pronounce your language. I'm sorry. On May 10th, 1916, it was referring to a police inspector's report by, it says, Marton Krasinski, the owner of the house rented by Kiss, because he rented this house, wanted to renovate the building. So he went to Sinkota, where Kiss's neighbor, an old acquaintance of Krasinski, Béla Kiss, I don't know, a pharmacist, told him that Kiss had gone to war in 1914. So, just to simple that down a little bit, he left in 1914. In 1916, so 2 years later, the owner of the house was like, fuck, somebody else wants to rent it. Let me see what I can do there. So he goes and talks to the neighbor, and the neighbor's like, no, he's not even there anymore. He's been gone for 2 years. So they were in search for material for redecoration. The two men went to this chamber next to Kiss's workshop, where Takak said there had been large quantity of reeds. I don't know what reeds are. I'm sorry, I failed my research there. So in the chamber, they found 7 tin drums stacked 1 meter long and 50 centimeters wide. Again, I didn't do my conversion to English inches, but centimeters and meters. 1 meter. So a meter is almost 3 foot long. So about 3 foot long and 50 centimeters tall.
50,
wide.
30 centimeters is a foot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So almost 2 feet. So almost 2 feet wide and 3 feet long. The town constable had remembered Kiss earlier saying that he was stockpiling gasoline, and he led all these needy soldiers to them that needed gasoline for the war. So the airtight top of the top barrel was sealed with lead, and it had been loosened with an axe, and then a terrible stench emanated from it.
I wonder why.
So Detective Chief Charles Nagy took over the investigation, and he opened the drum against the protest of the housekeeper, Miss Jakubik. After the tin roof was removed, a bag was found and pulled out of the cylinder. Now, we don't do true crime on here, so can anybody guess at all what was in this bag? Oh, shit. A woman's body was found sewn into the bag.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Another barrel was also punctured, from which a corpse smell emanated, and a lock of blonde hair fell out of it. Krasinski, who was the owner of the house, and Takacs, they then informed the authorities. So that's backwards right there. So it says they then informed the authorities, where in my other story, it says the detective came in and he's the one who opened it. So, again, timelines are weird there. Did they open them first, then call the detectives, or did they smell something, then call the detectives? So, Gayula Huska, the chief notary, together with police officers, found a female body in each of the 7 barrels. A search of Kiss's house resulted in a total of 24 bodies.
Holy shit.
Yes. So.
And okay. What was the timeline there?
1916. And he was gone. He left in 1914.
So a matter of 2 years,
So a matter of 2 years, they were sitting there. So I'm thinking, because this is where I'm confused too. So it says he moved into this house in the early 1900s, but it says his wife left 1912. So early 1900s, did he move in 1903, 1905, 1906? And then she left 6 years later? Because the other story I read said literally weeks after moving in, she started this affair and left in 1912. So when it says he moved in early 1900s, I guess that could be 1912. He moved in 1912. So that means from the time she left in December of 1912 till the time he got called to the army in 1914.
Yeah.
So in 2 years, he killed 24 people.
Fuck.
But again, when I go a little bit further down, there's another date that's in there that makes me think, so I don't know what dates are right. This is why it's fucking weird. And that's there's very little information on this guy. And it seems like every place I went to, they were all sharing like the same information, but they were finding different ways to say it, you know? Yeah. So, yes, so they found a total of 24 bodies. So Nagy, the police, chief of police, whatever, he informed the military that they should arrest Béla Kiss immediately if he was still alive, because there was also a possibility that he was a prisoner of war. But the name, unfortunately, was very common. In Hungarian, Kiss means little in Hungarian. So I don't know if, again, because the other guy, the neighbor, his name was Béla something else. So this is Béla Kiss. So
right.
It's a lot. I don't understand Hungarian shit. So at the time, Nagy also arrested the housekeeper, Jakubik, and asked the Postal Service to hold any possible letters to Kiss in case he had an accomplice that could warn him. Nagy initially suspected that Jakubik might have had something to do with the murders, especially when Kiss had left her money in his will. So yeah. It's kind of interesting. Jakubik assured police that she knew absolutely nothing about the murders. She even showed them a secret room Kiss had told her never to enter. The room was filled with bookcases, but also had a desk that had a number of letters. Kiss had correspondence with 74 women and a photo album.
I was going to say it was the 24 women that he killed.
Many of the books were about poisons or strangulation in his library. So that's just kind of a hint at what's in that room. Now I go into like a little bit more detail. They talk about these 74 women. So documents within this desk that they found revealed that Kiss had spent more than a decade corresponding with dozens of the women. This is where I said the time frame is kind of fucking weird. So I guess he advertised in Budapest newspapers under the name Hoffman, claiming to be a lonely man in search of a wife, preferably one of no small fortune. So when such a woman responded, as many did, he'd apparently visit her in the city, give her gifts, and generally romance her, all the while probing for information on whether or not she had close relatives nearby.
Holy shit.
Those who were more or less alone, he continued to woo in letters, convincing them to send him large sums of money, or in some cases, their entire savings in order to start a life together.
Damn.
Right. One woman, Catherine Varga, sold her profitable dressmaking business and was last seen leaving her house in Budapest to join Kiss in Cincota. So again, it's weird. It doesn't say when that happened because that'll help the timeline. It just says one woman sold her shit to move in with him, or whatever.
Yeah.
Or was last seen leaving her house with him. So it says Kiss reportedly received a whopping 174 proposals of marriage through his advertising.
Holy shit.
And accepted marriage from no less than 74 women.
Oh my God.
At least 20 of which who came to Dakota met their end. Perhaps because they realized their error and threatened to reveal Kiss for what he was, or because perhaps he simply enjoyed the gross acts of violence.
Sheesh.
Right.
I had issues with one.
No comment?
And that's why I'm divorced.
And I'll drink to that. So, each of these 74 corresponding women had their own packet of correspondence in Kiss's desk, and Nagy reached out to the local police to trace the women. Several of the bodies were identified, though it is unclear just how many Nagy was able to put a name to. One woman whose name was found stitched into clothing in Kiss's house was later identified as Julianne Pashak. Her name appeared in court records in Budapest. She had sued Kiss for defrauding her of money on the promise of marriage. Her case was thrown out when she failed to show up to the hearing.
Typical. Yeah.
Yeah. From the letters, so here's another date thing. So from the letters, Nagy discerned several things. The oldest of the letters were from 1903. See? So moved in early 1900s. Okay, 1903. But wife left in 1912. So was he doing this behind his wife back for 9 years, which led to her having the affair? Or did she really leave in 1912? Or did she leave soon after they moved in 1903 and he just reported her had left at 1912? This is where the shit doesn't make no sense to me, and I couldn't find any information. So,
right.
So some of these letters were dated back from 1903, and it became clear that Kiss was defrauding the women who had been looking for marriage. He had placed ads in the marriage columns of several newspapers and had selected mainly women who had no relatives living nearby and knew no one would quickly notice their disappearance. He wooed them, convinced them to send him money. If they proved troublesome for him, he killed them.
Yeah.
Police, oh my God, also found old court records that indicate that two of his victims had initiated court proceedings because he had taken money from them. Both women had disappeared, and the case had been dismissed. So that, I'm sure, is referencing the one I said earlier, and then I guess another one. Mm-hmm. So here, this next part is cool, kind of like where not cool, but kind of where he gets the one nickname. So it says, each woman who came to the house was strangled. Kiss pickled their corpses in alcohol and sealed them in the airtight metal drums. Police found that the bodies had puncture marks on their necks and that their bodies were drained of blood, which led them to believe that Kiss may have been practicing vampirism.
Fucking A, dude.
See, this guy's fun. I wish there was more information. Like, there's so much shit I want to know about.
Hell yeah.
So
he was what was the nickname again?
The vampire of
Hungary?
Yeah, or the Hungarian vampire.
Hungarian vampire. Holy
yeah, the
shit.
Hungarian vampire or the monster of Sinkota.
That's fucking wild.
Right. See, that's it. From the minute I read that little blurb in that one episode, I'm like, well, there's got to be a little bit more about him, right? And then I found very little more about him, but enough to like intrigue me even more.
Yeah. Now I have to go back and listen to that episode.
So then, this is where, again, my notes kind of get weird because it says, I have this titled Escape, this next section. Mm-hmm. So it says, on October 4th, 1916, Nagy received a letter that stated that Kiss was recuperating in a Serbian hospital. However, Nagy arrived at this hospital too late. Kiss had fled and left the corpse of another soldier in his bed. Nagy alerted all the Hungarian police, but all the alleged sightings police investigated were false. So that was October 4th, 1916. So in one article, I read they gave him a death, it says born, died, like on all these places. He said he died February 5th in 1915. So this obviously was after that. So again, and then also I think another place did report October 4th, 1916 as his death. But this is saying that was a fake body. It wasn't even him. So they're I don't know if I mentioned it later, but I'm going to say it now anyways. There's never been confirmed whether he did die or not. I mean, obviously he died at some point, but there's been never a confirmation if he died back then at any time or lived his life somewhere else,
I mean, did he?
Oh, if he's a vampire, you're right.
He's a vampire.
So, We'll post this picture. If you guys recognize this guy anymore, ask him how old he is. So that leads to sightings. On several later occasions, speculation arose that Kiss had perhaps faked his death by exchanging identities with a dead soldier named Macquarie during the war. He was reportedly cited numerous times in the following years. Various rumors circulated as his actual fate, including that he had been imprisoned for burglary in Romania, or he had died of the yellow fever in Turkey. In 1920, a soldier in the French Foreign Legion reported on another legionnaire named Hoffman, the name Kiss had used in some of his letters. So and then this supposed legionnaire had boasted how good he was at using a garrote, which you know what a garrote is, right?
No.
So we got to explain it. So, what's the best way to explain it? Like when you see in these serial killer movies or any killer movie, when you like you tie a rope around someone's neck, but then use like a stick to tighten it more.
Oh,
Like
okay.
you twist it. Yeah. I don't know how to describe it better than that. Like it's you use a tool to tighten something around.
Yeah, it says a weapon and a method of capital punishment. It consists of a handheld ligature of chain, rope, scarf, wire, or fishing line used to strangle a person.
There you go.
What the fuck?
So this legionnaire named Hoffman boasted how good he was at using a garrote, and he fit the Kiss's description. Hoffman deserted before police could reach him, so no idea if that was him or not. So the last known supposed sighting occurred in New York City in 1932. That year, homicide detective Henry Oswald was certain he had observed Kiss emerging from the New York City subway at Times Square, Manhattan. There were also rumors that Kiss was living in the city and working as a janitor, although these could not be verified because when the police went to interview the janitor at the school, he had already left and disappeared.
Of course.
So I did say this. Kiss's eventual fate and exact number of victims remain unknown. So that's how I end it. You know, not a super long episode, but I think very fucking interesting.
Super interesting. I mean, and granted, like I was kind of like looking at different things that you were talking about, but I mean, a lot of this shit was like from left field, like from one of the 74 fucking women, and then I mean, I don't know. It was
right. So like I said, they found 24 bodies, so there's confirmed 24. But again, if he had 74 except marriage, and he was talking to 170 of them, and then if he was in war for 2 years, was he really in war? Like, and if he appeared in New York in 1932, what did he do for those 16 years he was missing? Like, you don't just stop killing, if you ask me. I mean, I don't know.
Hold on, I want to go in the rabbit hole really quick. What about
H.H. Holmes?
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. What years were H.H. Holmes?
Wasn't that 1818, like back then? When was the Chicago Trades Fair?
I thought it was 1912.
Oh.
Oh no.
No?
1896 he died.
Oh, H.H. Holmes did?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was 1812 then.
What was the other guy?
Jack the Ripper?
Jack the Ripper.
He was around the same time as H.H. Holmes.
Okay.
Because they thought H.H. Holmes stopped in Chicago because it coincided with Jack the Ripper in London.
Shit, they don't even have. Okay, yeah, he was. Well, his last known death or kills were 1891.
Oh, okay.
So, which is kind of close, but still, like.
Yeah, but he would have been older though. Because,
yeah, he would have been older too.
Yeah, because if Béla Kiss was born, yeah, in what I say 19. Let me go to the top. He was born in 1877. So I mean,
Okay.
I mean, if Jack the Ripper appeared young, maybe because I don't know. Because again, since they don't have any idea who he was. Oh no, but when did his kills first start? Because yeah,
Right.
If Béla was born in 1877, whenever. So, yeah, it's just like I said, it's just fucking weird, man. Like, how is he's supposedly a soldier and they don't fucking know anything about him?
That's interesting. It's cool though because like I said, like you can go down a rabbit hole of trying to connect the different murders with the same, with the same timeline and everything like that. And they always said that not Jack the Ripper, but H.H. Holmes was a handsome dude, and
Yeah.
he was always,
But they actually have pictures of him. Like,
right.
then Jack the Ripper is always just kind of guesses what the guy looked like.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very interesting.
That was a good episode. I like that.
Yeah, it is. I said it was.
And it's funny because I mentioned the mustache on fucking
Yep.
what's his name, and Jack and H.H. Holmes had a fucking crazy mustache too.
Yeah, I'm jealous of his mustache.
I know I can't grow shit.
Man, like I it's funny. I was just talking to someone. Was it us? That I'm jealous of Jesse's mustache. Because Jesse's mustache, like, he can shave his whole beard and he can get the Yosemite Sam shit
Yeah.
going. He can get the shit going down here. Me, if I shave this, it stops right here. Like, my
I'm the
mustache
same,
doesn't
too.
go in.
Mine is weird. My barber's the same way.
Oh, really?
Well, my it's actually a childhood friend. He's a barber now.
Yeah.
He used to be my barber, but he's so hard to get into.
That's what she said.
He, he can curl his mustache.
Oh, that's
It's
awesome.
shit. And I always wanted to try to do that, but my shit doesn't grow.
So here's something else that I knew I forgot to put something in my notes. When one of the articles I read said that so what these victims, they were submerged in a brine of methanol, and that kept the bodies pretty well preserved. So So submerged in a brine of methanol was a relatively well-preserved body of a young woman with long brown hair, along with the rope that had strangled her. The 6 other drums bore the same grisly contents, naked or partially clothed corpses of young women and the same murder weapon, a length of rope. The methanol, also known as wood alcohol, acted as a preservative, keeping decomposition to a minimum. So that's what helped them kind of be able to kind of identify these people, because they weren't decomposing in these drums.
That was going to be my question. Like methanol. Like methanol is an alternative fuel. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it like deteriorate?
Yeah, you would think so, but it says it acted as a preservative.
Interesting.
So I guess he kind of was saving, gasoline for the war. He just had bodies inside of it.
Okay, so it says it's used as a solvent, antifreeze ingredient, and windshield washer fluid. Huh. Oh yeah, okay. Pickling in the food. Acid. Methanol is a component of acetic acid, which is used for pickling in the food industry.
Nice.
Interesting.
Because it's funny, when I first was looking him up, one of the articles was like labeled as the serial killer that pickled his victims, and I'm like,
Yeah, that's fucking bizarre.
and then this other article says, yeah, and it says, now this one says they searched the property like I had said, and it says each open lid revealed another young corpse until somewhere between 24 and 30 were logged into the police file. Wow. And it says accounts differ.
Yeah.
So a lot of them all said 24, 24, 24, but now this one says between 24 and 30. So, and then this one also says all the victims have been strangled, but some of them had dual puncture marks on their neck, which led to him being called the Vampire of Sincota.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's gonna really maybe make me second guess eating pickled pig's feet. Because they say pigs are very similar to human. That's why they dissect pigs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Huh. Fuck. You just ruined pickled pig's feet for me.
I don't think I've ever had one and probably won't.
Oh, dude, it's so good. Well, the way my grandma used to make it was so good. If you like spicy, she fucking killed it.
Yeah. See, now this article also says the last reported seeing of him was 1936 as a janitor, where mine said 1932 as a janitor. So, yeah, it's so freaking, like, I'm probably not going to stop looking up stuff for this guy, even though nothing, I mean, who knows if anything new will ever come out in him, but it's just so, like I said, I'm glad you liked it because it's so fucking interesting to me. He might be my favorite serial killer now.
You know what? I still because you and I both have like a fascination of H.H. Holmes.
Yeah.
I feel like we both need to like brainstorm and do H.H. Holmes. Like that'd be a good episode.
It'd be hard to. Oh my god, I have so much like information on him because I've
Yeah, you have way more than I do. Where I have just pretty much everything you know.
Right. I don't think I have any more than you because we both went on that. I mean, I was first introduced to him Jamie's birthday.
Hammered.
Well, yeah. I was first introduced to him at Jamie's birthday party. We're like, I've never heard of this guy. And the most prolific, probably serial killer, or he was called the first serial killer of the United States. Yeah. And he was right in Chicago. And then I've watched the documentary, The Devil in the White, or Whitechapel, whatever it's called, Devil in the White City. I've read the book Devil in the White City. And it's just, yeah, it's God, I am so, like right in the middle of Arch Route. Did you run it before when you were a jumper at all?
Yeah.
So, again, the address it slips my mind, but you literally drive right past where his castle used to be.
So the post office.
The post office is right there, and I want to go there, but it's not in a very good neighborhood.
No, it's not.
But also, I would just be able to walk in and just go to the front desk, and that's it,
Yeah.
And from what I've heard, now it's been who knows how many more years, but 15 years ago, 20 years ago, yeah, they found some shit in the basement, I thought I heard or read somewhere, like or they found a secret door, or when they were digging, something weird happened while it was the post office. So, but I'm so pissed they tore that place down.
Yeah.
Because, again, they could have at least examined it for a little bit, because there's no accurate portrayal or no accurate drawing of what the castle was. Because just to dive in a little bit, list thinkers before, because I don't want to give too much away. If you don't know who H.H. Holmes was, he built what they call a murder castle around the turn of the century when Chicago hosted the World's Fair, and he booked it as, or he labeled it as a hotel, and he would get people, usually women, to stay there for cheap. Hey, you're here to visit the World's Fair, because it was huge at the time. It was something that people from across the world would come to see this World's Fair.
Yeah.
And they would never be seen again. There's rumors he killed up to 100 people. Again, numbers are, I think he only got actually charged with, 17 was Dahmer. So somewhere between 20 to 30 he was charged with. But there's rumors he could have been 100. But the story goes, this murder castle, he would hire...
So he admitted to 27.
Okay, there you go.
But it as many as 200.
Sounds low at 100. So he would hire contractors to build something in his, air quote, castle, in his house, build a random room with weird floor plans, like either a gas line going in there, or a door leading to nothing, or brick walls outside of windows. Then, the way he'd save money, he would not pay them. He would say, no, you didn't do my shit right. You're fired.
Right.
Then he would hire another contractor, walk them straight to a different place of the house, not let them see the rest of the house, and have them build some kind of room. So there's no information that says how many rooms were in there, what they led to, what they were there. Now there's obviously some stories that got out that there was a room, kind of like you've seen in movies, that had a trap door, that it would open up and they'd drop straight to the basement, break their legs, and he'd torture them down there. There was, most of the rooms they said did have a trap door that led to like an incinerator, I think. But again, this is just tip of the iceberg shit, because I'm sure eventually we will do one on him, and I don't want to like just give too much information, but this guy is fucking super fast. I mean, it's funny. Every time someone asks me who my favorite serial killer is, I'll say, like, I don't even know who I say recently. I usually say I like Ed Gein, just because of who he's inspired, all the shit he's inspired. But how would I forget? Like, I've read countless books on Jack the Ripper. Like, he has always fascinated me. And that's what led me, when they first mentioned this H.H. Holmes guy, like, oh, who's this fucking guy right in Chicago? Now I don't have to go to London for him. Right. And then when I first heard that story years later, that, hey, there's a possibility that H.H. Holmes and Jack the Ripper are the same people. Like, holy fuck, because the murders in London stopped when they started here in Chicago, or the other way around. They stopped in Chicago when they started in London. It was like, fuck. And Jack the Ripper was never found. Nobody ever knows who he was. H.H. Holmes was found, but anyone that saw Jack the Ripper died, so there's no knowing if he was him or not. So there's just, those two fascinate the shit out of me. It's turned into an interesting talk today. Welcome to Dan Talk.
But yeah, no, yeah, that would be a good episode to do, and I'm sure it would be more than a.
It'd be a couple parter.
Yeah, it'd be a couple parter.
Be more than a two-parter.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, my whole fascination with H.H. Holmes started when we did that. We did
the
a
ghost
serial
tour.
killer ghost tour for
Yeah.
Jamie's birthday. So awesome! That was one of the coolest things I've ever done.
Yeah, I mean, I know, because I'm gonna be going to New Orleans in about a month.
I hate you for that.
We're gonna do a ghost tour.
Are you?
Yeah.
Record some shit, man.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm going live.
So it's funny when Autumn and Merv were here, and I'm like, you guys suck. She goes, well, didn't you know we were going? I'm like, no, I wasn't invited. She goes, well, because I always give her shit that we're never invited over there. She goes, oh, I can't do nothing about that. I go, yeah, Lupe never fucking invited me. She goes, that's mean of him. I was joking with her the whole time, and she doesn't know this, but in my mind, I'm like, he couldn't invite me. If he's on vacation, I can't be on vacation at the same time. So, of course, I wasn't invited. Hey, Dan, I'm going on vacation. You want to go with me? No, I can't. Like, those are the rules. And since I'm technically your boss because your route's under my district, we can never be on vacation at the same time. So, yeah. But, like I've told anyone that New Orleans was mine and Jamie's dream vacation. And we were supposed to go May of 2020. But we all know what happened. In March of 2020,
Oh yeah, COVID.
the world ended.
As we know it.
We had cheap fucking round trip flights.
Hell yeah, dude. When I went to New Orleans the first time, it was 21. Yeah, I was already separated. It was 21. Round trip tickets, $130.
Yeah, I was gonna think. I think mine and Jamie's each were 120, 140 round trip.
Yeah.
And the girls. So this was 2020. So Easton was 4, Rylan was 1. So Easton was in preschool only. Rylan wasn't in school yet. So the mother-in-law was going to watch them. It was our anniversary. It was our 5-year anniversary. We had cheap tickets. We had someone to watch the girls. We had set up for the dog to be, everything fell in line. I had off work. She had off work. The tickets were cheap. We had everything planned.
And then the world shut down.
Thank you, Plandemic.
Yeah. Well, let's not get into that. That's a good conspiracy theory.
It is. Leroy has called it the Plandemic since the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
So speaking of conspiracy theories, I'm not going to get into one, but, we always give shout-outs. I have started listening to, it's called The Last Podcast.
And you suggested me to listen to it too, and I did start listening to it, and I'm actually on COVID-19 right now.
Are you?
Yeah.
Because I'm on episode 7, I think. I started from the very beginning when I was 7. And again, in the 7 episodes I've listened to, a lot of it sounds like it's almost all conspiracy theories. Now, there is a lot of political talk on there, which I don't talk politics because I don't know about politics.
Right.
Now,
I'm the same.
I find this shit they talk about, though, very interesting. So it's cool. It's not turning me off. I want to listen to more. So Don is so the way I know him, he's one of my cousin's ex-boyfriends. They've been broken up for a long time, but we've still remained in contact here and there. And he actually reached out to me like a while ago saying, oh, your podcast is cool. You like listening to us. Do you have any tips for someone who wants to start one? I'm like, Lupe's the one that put it all together. I'm like, I just go on there and talk. I'm like, I'm just a talent. So
he's the comedic relief. Other than Don.
So yeah. So Don, you do. I've messaged him already. Said that I'm hooked on his shit already. I love it. I love his stuff. It's good. The stuff they talk about. But yeah, it's called The Last Podcast. Don Harger and Sean Murphy are the hosts. Because when you look up just the last podcast, Lupe had trouble too, because a lot of times the last podcast on the left comes up because that one's been out for a long time. But this is just called The Last Podcast, and their picture, if you're looking it up, is like a solo mic surrounded by like a headset mic with a moon there. But yeah, let's see, the episode I just listened to was about MK Ultra. So it was you know what that is?
MK Ultra, yes.
Yeah. So there's
the conspiracy theory that started all conspiracy theories that was actually true.
Yeah. So it's interesting shit, man. So, and it's interesting because COVID. Okay, yeah, you're not as far as me. COVID-19 was number 4.
Yeah.
So their second episode was called Operation Paperclip, which ties into MK Ultra. They talk about Operation Paperclip a lot in the MK Ultra episode because, again, not to steal their thunder, but Operation Paperclip was holy fuck to me. I'm like, I never knew any of this shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, once I heard some of their episodes, I'm like, Lupe, I know you love conspiracy theories. You got to listen to this shit. So in our ongoing promoting other podcasts, if you guys have time in your podcast world to listen to other, it's hard to find time with all the podcasts we listen to. But yeah, the last podcast, Don, I'll say it again, you and Sean, I think you're doing a good job out there, man. And he has invited us if we ever want to guest host on one of theirs.
Fuck yeah, I'm down.
Yeah,
I'm always down. You know me.
Yeah.
Shit, I've guested on. Well, actually, just Stir the Pot.
Yeah.
Kay never put me on her podcast. She recorded with us.
What about Memento Mori, too?
Memento Mori, too, yeah. I haven't been on her. That's my girlfriend.
You haven't been on her, you said? Wait, what?
Whoa.
You can cut that. So, yeah. So, that concludes my information. I don't know if there's any more bullshitting you want to do, Lupe. Any house cleaning we got to get to?
So you're listening to this. This is, I want to say it's our 98th episode.
I think you're right.
We did record our 100th episode, but obviously that's not going to come out for a couple more weeks. It was a great time.
And crazy enough, I won't be on that one.
Yeah.
I was there for the party, but when the recording started, I had to leave.
Yeah.
So you'll see me in pictures before we started recording, but then I won't be on the actual recording.
Pictures and videos of me doing
beer bongs, beer shotguns.
Shotguns.
with rain.
Yeah. That was a good time. I really enjoyed myself. I hope everybody else enjoyed themselves. I accidentally threw away all Don sausage.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I was so pissed.
I only had one.
I didn't have any.
How'd you throw it away?
Well, when everything was getting cleaned up, all the trays got put together.
Yeah.
So me thinking
they were all garbage trays.
All garbage, I tossed them.
Oh my God.
And I had asked Don, I'm like, hey, I was like, was there any sausage left over or any of the Snicker salad? He's like, well, you told me to take the Snicker salad. Well, I was drunk that night. I did probably about 4 or 5 shotguns.
Yeah. Well, before I left, so I don't know how many did you do after that.
I didn't do any after.
Oh, okay.
And he was like, there was probably about a half a tray of sausage left. I'm like, son of a bitch.
And he spent like an hour cooking those on the grill.
Yeah.
Because he had the meat thermometer and everything. He was making sure it was right. Yeah. It was so fucking good too. I love Don's sausage.
I know. I had when I had texted him, I asked him about the sausage, and he's like, it should have been in the fridge. Yeah, no, it wasn't. Fuck. So I told him, I was like, maybe I'll buy a couple more pounds.
I have some in my freezer, so I bought some off him.
I have a few links in the freezer too, because that was supposed to go to somebody else, but she never took it.
She never took Don's sausage.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, other than that, we got 4th of July coming up.
Yeah, so here's my question to you. I don't know if you're going to keep this in there or not. Normally you edit on Mondays. You're working Monday. When do you plan on editing?
I might edit Sunday.
Okay.
Because I don't really have anything going on Sunday.
Yeah.
So I should edit Sunday. I might even edit both episodes and then just put that other episode in the back pocket. Oh, well, the 100th episode anyway.
So, yeah, speaking of, the holiday coming up, we won't record again till after the holiday, and the other one won't drop till after the holiday. So, everyone, I hope you come out of the 4th of July with all 10 fingers.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Again, every 3rd of July, I always post a meme that says, unknowingly, lots of Americans are going to bed as their last night is having all 10 fingers or something weird like that, however it goes. This is the last night some people will go to bed with 10 fingers.
Yeah. And also, back it up, Terry.
Back it up, Terry. God bless America. So,
but yeah, I think that's all listen to, you said
the last podcast. We got Stir the Pod.
Shout out to Stir the Pot. Shout out to Memento Mori.
Okay.
And MK, that's MMKAY.
Okay.
She put out the last couple episodes were pretty good.
Okay.
I need to finish the last one that she just put out today, I think. But yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
I really wanted to go see the Basement Yard in July.
What's that?
It's another podcast.
I've heard of the. Are they like touring or something?
Yeah, they're touring.
Oh.
They're coming to Chicago.
Is that the one with
July.
Theo? What's his name?
No,
Theo Von in it? No.
It's Joe Santagato and
I've heard some of their stuff.
Frank Alvarez. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
sent you
you've
a
sent
couple
some stuff. They're good,
couple
too.
of- Yeah, they're hilarious.
Yeah.
So I wish I could have made it, but they're on a Thursday and I work. So
Is it during the day?
yeah.
Oh.
Well, it's later on, but
But Thursday's your long day, anyways.
yeah. So well, if they ever tour again, I'll fucking come or I'll fucking go. If not, hey, if they're nearby, like I'll make a 4-hour drive to Ohio if I have the time off.
Is that where they're from?
No, they're from New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Nice.
But yeah, guys, you can follow us on all your major podcast platforms. On Instagram at impulsivethoughts_pod.
Facebook at Impulsive Thoughts.
And send your words of encouragement
Yeah.
and pictures with signs and everything like that.
Like, I know we say it all the time, please interact with us, but this would be truly awesome if we got some pictures of postcards or whatnot from other states, other countries, whatnot. I want to see how accurate these stats Donnie give us. Like, if there's an Australian listener out there, fuck it, go ahead and say, Dan, your accent sucks, but this is for your son, you know? Or stop talking like us, we don't talk like that. Anything. I mean, tell Rhea Ripley I said hi. She's on her honeymoon right now, I think. Her and Buddy got married.
Oh,
So,
did they get married?
yeah.
Nice.
So, I don't know. I said I'm infatuated with Australia too. So, but just interact with us. Like, send a little picture. Again, it could be a selfie. It could be just a sign. If you don't want to show yourself, or you're embarrassed of yourself for some reason. A lot of people don't like taking selfies. Fucking just a picture. Good job, Logan. Or proud of you, Logan. Or keep on rocking in the free world. I don't know. I'm running out of shit to say.
Keep on trucking.
Keep on keeping on. Life's a garden. Dig it. You mean to tell me you got some? So, thanks again for all your support. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on the TikToker, the Snapchatter, the Instagrammer, the YouTuber.
And we usually only use
Instagram and Facebook.
Instagram and Facebook.
But you can find us in those places.
Yeah.
I didn't say you'll find anything on there, but you can find us on there. So, yeah.
So, with my one co-host today, Mr. Dano,
G'day, mate.
it is time to sign off.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Remember, don't believe everything you think. And tip your waitresses.
Just a
We
tip,
out
though.
this bitch.
Just a tip.
Just a tip. Peace.
Bye.